Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sports Breakdown once again. So we are going to do the review of Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals, which was the qualifier two of the IPL 2024. And Sunrisers Hyderabad deservedly went to the finals of the IPL 2024 by defeating Rajasthan Royals by 36 runs. And Sunrisers Hyderabad are through to the IPL final after 3 years. So we have Rahul joining us from USA as usual, and I'm back as host as well. Hosting it was Kunal who was hosting before, but now I'm back to do the qualifier too, and possibly the final as well on Monday as well. The review. So let's get into the match, Rahul. So Rahul, your thoughts, especially coming to the toss. I mean, it was in Chepauk, and especially Rajasthan Royals winning the toss and fielding first. Do you think that was the right decision from Rajasthan Royals yesterday by Sanju Samson, seeing the pitch and the conditions in Chepauk?
I think he clearly misread the conditions. I mean, Chepauk, this was a traditional, typical Chepauk wicket, not like the ones we saw in the group stage games. During the group stage, we saw some pitches where like there was dew in the second innings and CSK could not even defend a 210 in one match. I think, yeah, potentially, I think that's the loss that cost CSK the playoffs, I would argue. But anyway, coming back to the subject, I think this was a typical Chepauk wicket where batting got harder in the second innings and, it was hard to chase. I think Rajasthan Royals misread the conditions. Sanju Samson probably thought that there will be dew in the second innings and it will get easier for batting, but I think he completely misread it. This was not the Chepauk wicket that we saw during the league stages. This was a tough wicket to chase on. 175 was definitely a very kind of close to a winning score for Sunrisers Hyderabad, you have to argue. But
Yeah.
I think the spinners for Sunrisers were too good in the middle overs. Actually, Rajasthan Royals made a decent start to their chase, 65 for 1 in 8 overs. Yashasvi Jaiswal was going well, but the middle overs it just fell apart with the way Abhishek Shah, the two spinners bowled for Sunrisers Hyderabad, Abhishek Sharma and yeah, who else? Yeah, Shahbaz Ahmed. Yeah,
Sabas
the
Ahmed,
way
yeah.
they, yeah, both of them bowled very well. I mean, 5 wickets between them for like just 40, 50 runs. Excellent bowling effort. That's really where Rajasthan Royals completely lost the match. They completely lost the plot in those middle overs.
Yeah. So coming to the first innings of Sunrisers Hyderabad, I think they had a slow start, like I mean the first over, but then they accelerated really well in the power play. I think they scored around 60 runs. I think in the power play, if I'm not mistaken, 60 or 70 runs. But your thoughts, especially Rahul Tripathi's knock, especially 37 of 15, and then Travis said also pretty much we didn't expect that slow start from Travis said, but I think it was pretty much difficult, to get going unless you be over aggressive, because on the Chepauk pitch, it actually suited, like, because RR, I think Avish Khan and Sandeep Sharma were bowling those slow deliveries very well, especially towards the death overs. But top of the power play, I think even Trent Bolt was a threat also to SRH as well. So your thoughts in the power play phase, and especially Tripaঠি's knock as well?
Well, I can't say what I cannot say that Sunrisers made a very slow start to the innings. I mean, they were scoring runs quickly, but then wickets were also falling. Trent Bolt got 3 wickets. Quite an entertaining start for both teams. I mean, both teams kind of got what they wanted out of the power play, and then yeah, Travis Head was not his usual self. I mean, I thought when he got into his 20s and 30s, like today, we're going to see Travis Head peaking in a big match. I thought he would start accelerating, but that never really came. It was a very tough innings from Head, but still, I think him and Klassen they got a good partnership. Uh, I mean, from 55 for three, they took it to 100 runs. They were still scoring at a decent pace. They never dropped their scoring rate too much drastically. That's a good thing with the Sunrisers. Although they also had a very difficult middle phase, just like Rajasthan Royals did. But the good thing for Sunrisers is they didn't lose too many wickets in that middle phase. And Henrik Klassen, he stayed there, and even Klassen was not scoring very quickly, but he kind of stayed patient. He chose his battles when to take on the bowlers and when to what to say. toned down a bit, and he played his role pretty well. Still, he scored 50 off 34, which
Hmm.
was a good
50 of 34.
innings.
Yeah.
Maybe Sunrisers could have done better in those last 2 overs. I mean, because after
Hmm.
Henry Klassen got out, they couldn't really score much in the last two
But I think
overs. But
175 was like par. Maybe they could have got to 180, but I think they were just 5 runs short. I don't think that would have made a huge difference, seeing how the pitch behaved in the second innings
probably,
also.
yeah, probably not. But I think the difference is Sunrisers didn't lose too many wickets in the middle phase. I think for Rajasthan Royals, it just completely fell apart in the middle overs.
Yeah. Also, Rahul, your thoughts, especially, the spinners of Rajasthan Royals and SRH completely, played differently, because, I mean, the SRH spinners were absolutely brilliant in the second innings, whereas, the RR spinners, apart from Ashwin, I would say, wasn't that effective because Ashwin, I think, even Ashwin considered 10.75 economy, and then Yuzvendra Chahal 8 years and none of them picked up wickets. And when you see the SRH spinners, Shahbaz Ahmad took 3 for 23, and they bowled Abhishek Sharma, who got 2 for 24, and they also bowled Adam Markram, but he conceded 10 runs and over. So, do you think like RR missed a trick of not bringing in an extra spinner at Chepauk, especially? Do you think that they could have, because I think they lost the. I mean, RR not bringing an extra spinner. Do you think that was a huge difference towards their loss? Your thoughts?
Uh, Ultimately, well, you see, whatever the spinners did actually, you could say the pace bowling made up for it because Sandeep Sharma and Avesh Khan bowled very well. I mean, they did the job that Abhishek Sharma and Shahbaz Ahmed did for Sunrisers Hyderabad. It's actually very strange because during Sunrisers innings, the pace bowlers dominated the wickets, whereas wickets were dominated by spin in the second phase of the match. But yeah, actually, you expect better from Ashwin on this pitch because this was a spin friendly wicket. The ball was turning a bit, and Ashwin, he's from Chennai. He knows this Chepauk pitch inside out. You expect a better effort from him than 0 for 43 of 4 overs. And Yuzvendra Chahal also, he's very often he's going to be in the T20 World Cup squad, and
Yeah,
he's one of the most successful bowlers of the IPL, and I believe he's even one of the best T20 spinners for Team India as well. So he should have also bowled better than 0 for 43. I mean,
yeah.
8 overs not taking wickets as a spin bowler in Chepauk is not acceptable, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. We have Atul joining us also from the Fifth Umpire WhatsApp group. Atul, how are you doing? Just also want to ask you, as I asked Rahul also, what do you think was the difference, behind, the success towards SRH victory yesterday? Because we see the RR spinners, didn't pick up any wickets, and it was the fast bowlers who actually, ensured that Rajasthan Royals came back, especially Sandeep Sharma and Avesh Khan towards the death overs, bowling those slower deliveries. And we saw yesterday a stat that the fast bowlers were conceding, sorry, when they were bowling the slow deliveries, they actually considered 4 runs, and when they bowled the stock delivery, they actually considered 10. The economy was 10. So your thoughts, what was the difference towards this SRH victory, and the difference between the bowlers, especially of both the teams? Hello, Atul. Atul, I don't think we can hear you. I think your mic is on, but we can't hear you speaking. All right. Okay. Until he fixes that issue, let's come to Rajasthan Royals innings. So I mean, Tom Kohler Cadmo. Obviously, we don't have Josh Butler opening. Your thoughts really towards Tom Kohler Cadmo's addition towards this playing 11 of Rajasthan Royals, because he has struggled in all three innings. And you have a player like Tanush Kotian, who also has a slow strike rate but didn't do that bad in the opportunity that he got. And you also have Sanju Samson, who can open, and you can bring in a Donovan Ferreira in the middle order. So your thoughts towards this order of Rajasthan Royals, like the batting order of RR, Rahul?
Perhaps they could have brought Donovan Ferreira to open the batting with Yashasvi Jaiswal. That instead of Tom Kohler, Cadmore, and asked him, you go out there, you score a quick, what to say, 25 to 30 runs in 10 balls, and you've done your job. Like something like what Sunil Narayan does for Kolkata Knight Riders, a similar role. You could have asked Donovan Ferreira to try and play for Rajasthan Royals to bring down the required rate in those power play overs. You could have brought in a hitter like that. Yashasvi Jaiswal, yeah, he scored 42 or 21, but very disappointing today. He needed to play a very big innings today, not just for winning this match and getting Rajasthan Royals to the final, but also for his confidence when it comes to representing Team India at the T20 World Cup, because very likely he's going to be the one opening the batting with Rohit Sharma over there, and he's not been at his best in this IPL. He needs to prove something, that he can open with Rohit Sharma, and that he will be able to make big scores in case Rohit Sharma fails like that. But yeah, 42 or 21, it's not bad, but it's not great either.
But
We expect more.
the
And
way
the
that
other thing
Yashasvi
is
Jais, yeah,
Sanju
sorry.
Samson, very very disappointing. He's one of the most experienced batsmen in the players in this team. He's the captain of the team, and he threw away his wicket today when the
Hmm.
team needed him to stay in the crease, get a partnership with Jaiswal, and keep
Yeah.
the run chase going. He did not do it. He again failed under pressure.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask, the dismissal of Yashasvi Jaiswal was very disappointing, especially because that shot wasn't required when, I think he was already scoring 10 runs in that over against Shahbaz Ahmed. Do you think that shot was necessary from Yashasvi Jaiswal, that over aggressiveness? Because, that was clearly an unnecessary shot, plus he didn't middle it properly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's easy to say after somebody gets out that it's an unnecessary shot, but yeah, he didn't execute it well. And also, yeah, it's a little bit greedy, especially when you know the required rate, you know what you have to do, and you need to stay at the crease and do a job for your team. Yeah, you have to say it's a reckless decision.
Hmm. Yeah, all right. Yeah, also coming back to the first innings, I could speak about the bowlers as well. But your thoughts towards the death overs of Rajasthan Royals, especially Sandeep Sharma and Avesh Khan, the way that they bowled and brought back Rajasthan Royals in the first innings, especially their slow deliveries and all. So your thoughts towards their tactics and strategies towards the death overs?
Yeah, I think they were very spot on in the death overs. They weren't really giving anything away for the batsmen. There's nothing the batsman could have done differently. Henrik Klassen got an excellent ball from Sandeep Sharma. There's nothing he could have done to prevent that. But and then once Klassen got out, it's very hard for Pat Cummins and Jaydev Unadkat to do something. Shahbaz Ahmed also was struggling because Avesh and Sandeep Sharma, they were taking pace off and they're making very hard for the batsman to hit the ball. So I think they were tactically spot on. Uh, Although
Yeah.
SRH did get away to a decent score, they still limited the damage, and they gave Rajasthan Royals a chance in this match because even though it's a difficult wicket, you can achieve 176 on this pitch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And your thoughts towards Dhruv Jewell's innings, because Dhruv Jewell really didn't get along, in the IPL so far. I mean, he didn't have a really good season so far, but until this innings. So your thoughts towards this innings from Dhruv Jewell, will that boost his confidence, especially towards the future? Because RR, I'm not sure how many retentions are going to be there for Rajasthan Royals now when it comes to for all the teams when it comes to the retentions for the mega auctions next year. So your thoughts towards this innings towards Dhruv Jewell, and how much of a boost will that be for him, especially for the future?
Yeah, it will definitely boost his confidence, no doubt. I mean, runs in any situation does count, but as far as Rajasthan Royals season is concerned, it's a little bit too little, too late, because by the time he played this knock, the match was pretty much gone for Rajasthan Royals. By the time he started, being able to score, that the collapse in the middle overs for Rajasthan Royals really cost them the match. So he was really stepped up and scored this knock when the team was pretty much gone in a pretty
Yeah.
much lost match. He should have done this a lot earlier. I know Rajasthan Royals was at eight wins and one loss during the regular season at some point. But if Dhruv Jurel had really stepped up in one of those four consecutive losses that Rajasthan Royals had, they could have been playing qualifier one, and they would have had two chances at reaching this final. Probably they could have even won qualifier one and gone straight to the final, the best case scenario for winning the IPL trophy. They made things really hard on themselves by, not losing four games in a row and then having to play the eliminator. And, when you play the eliminator, and it's very hard to even reach the final, let alone win the IPL. I mean, history shows that most of the teams who win the IPL either play they win qualifier one, or after losing qualifier one, they come back to the final and they win it. So it's mostly top two teams that win the IPL, and Rajasthan Royals didn't reach that top two mark, and I think that is something that they're going to regret, because it's not just about
Mm,
qualifying for the playoffs. Once you are
mm,
almost sure of it, you have to ensure that you get those top two spots. And
absolutely.
talking about Dhruv Jurel's knock, it's too little, too late, in my
Too late. Yeah,
opinion. But
absolutely.
hopefully, he will build on it and actually perform in the regular grind of a series or a tournament. This is if he gets selected for Team India in the limited overs format. But looking at the way he has performed in this IPL, it's going to be very hard for him to get selected for the national team when there are already many contenders.
Absolutely, yeah. Your thoughts also towards Sanju Samson and Riyan Parag, the way that they got out, especially Riyan Parag, because yes, he has carried Rajasthan Royals through to the qualifier too. I mean, he has had a brilliant season so far. I mean, absolutely brilliant, because I mean, Riyan Parag didn't even perform in the previous seasons, but this season has been his season for Rajasthan, and could be one of the reasons why Rajasthan Royals are in qualifier two at the moment. But actually, your thoughts towards their dismissals, I mean, Riyan Parag, the way that he played this season, I thought that he could have done a bit better, be a bit sensible, towards in a pressure situation like this. So, your thoughts, especially with both of them, could they have done better, especially with the shots that they got out? And you think that they could have done it a bit better? Because if either Sanju or Riyan Parag stayed along, I think because they lost quick wickets. I think, if I'm not mistaken, SRH, sorry, Rajasthan. When they lost the second wicket, I think they lost. I think they went to five
At
for 79 from
7.5 overs,
55, 55 to two for to 5 for 75
they were
after
65
11
for
overs.
one at one
11 overs.
point. They were 65 for one in 7.4 overs, and they collapsed to 92 for six in 3.4 overs. So in the space of 6 overs, they lost 5 wickets for 27 runs. You cannot do
Yeah.
that in a T20 game. If You cannot have that collapse in any kind of format. If
Yeah.
you collapse like that in any kind of format, you will end up losing
Lose.
more often
Yeah.
than not. It's very hard
Yeah.
to recover from that. And Sanju Samson and Riyang Parag, these are two players who carried Rajasthan Royals throughout the season. And yeah, Riyang Parag, very disappointing in this match. Somebody needed to stay on this pitch. This is not a pitch where you can just smash every ball out of the park. I think we've gotten too used to that during this IPL, where teams can just smash every ball for a six. They'll get to
Yeah.
250 or 270. This is not that kind of a pitch. I think you could say many of these batsmen got found out in a way, because you get used to too used to playing on flat pitches, and finally when you come to a pitch where you need to show application, uh, you don't do it. So this is
Yeah.
the problem, and this is a worrying sight going forward, in general,
Mm.
for cricketers who are coming through the IPL. I mean, you need to prepare a variety of wickets. Otherwise, this tournament doesn't serve its desired purpose, in my opinion. And Riyan Parag, this was a chance for him to prove himself, because he's generally been the butt of all jokes until last IPL season. Here, he had a chance to prove himself to be a hero. Many players in this team had a chance to be a hero. Sanju Samson could have been a hero. Riyan Parag could have been a hero. And another thing, Ravi Chandran Ashwin ahead of Shimran Hetmeyer. Seriously, Ashwin is not a T20 batsman. I don't understand how Shimran Hetmeyer and Robman Powell can be sent behind Ravichandran Ashwin. That doesn't make any sense for me. I mean, what is this? I mean, Ashwin is not a typical T20 batsman or an established player. Okay, he's maybe he can hit for 2 or 3 overs if he's needed, but Shimran Hetmai and Roman Paul, these are your hitters. These are the guys who can take games away from the opponents. So you need to. They deserve to be in the lineup ahead of Ravichandran and Ashwin in the batting order.
Absolutely. Hmm. Absolutely agree with you over there. Yeah, over. I think it was just because Ashwin, previous matches when he got the opportunity to bat higher up, he actually scored runs. But I'm not sure at this situation whether it was right to send in Ashwin ahead of Hetma and Powell, because we saw Ashwin batting at
I
number 3
mean,
in 1 or 2 matches, and it kind of worked that experiment in previous seasons also. But I'm not sure in this instance whether it was right to bring in Ashwin
see,
ahead of Hetma and Powell when they were losing wickets very quickly.
it didn't make any sense. I mean, see, once in a while, if you do that, I mean, to surprise the opposition, then it, okay, you can say, like, if you're winning a match and you want to surprise the opposition by sending in Ravichandran Ashwin, then it makes sense. But when
Yeah,
you're in a pressure situation, match is on the line, you don't send in Ravichandran Ashwin when you have Shimran Hetmeyer and Roman Powell to come. And to be honest,
absolutely.
for the most part, I have to say Ravichandran Ashwin hasn't been like any Sunil Narayan or anything for Rajasthan Royals.
Definitely.
He's not
Yeah.
scored that quickly or anything that yeah, he
Mm.
should be promoted up the order. Normally, you promote some kind of bowler up the order to tell them go swing the bat and whatever happens. Give us some quick runs. You don't
Agreed.
send a batsman in like Ravichandran Ashwin to just rotate, strike, build an innings. Ashwin is not that type of a player. You have to
Yeah.
send in Shimran Hetmeyer and Roman Powell ahead of Ashwin when the match is on the line.
Mm. Definitely. Also, your thoughts towards Roman Powell's form this season, because it hasn't been that great. It's like sort of like how Maxwell has performed for RCB this season, because he got like 7 to 8 matches, but really hasn't build up to the expectation. Because with Delhi Capitals, when he 2 seasons back, I think he scored like 250 runs if I'm not mistaken, and his average was about 30. But his form has dipped. In IPL in the last 2 years. So your thoughts towards Powell's season so far? I mean, it's been a real struggle for him to get along, or is it
Yeah,
just the position that he bats in that makes him feel under pressure? Because usually for West Indies also he bats at number 4, 5, and now he's being given a different role for Rajasthan Royals.
it could be, but you then it's hard to promote him up the order in this lineup. The best you can do is promote him to number five, maybe you can promote him to number five. But Powell is the kind of player who bats himself in such situations. And anyway, in T20 cricket, you know everyone has to at some point be able to handle death overs and probably handle chasing down a target when the required rate is high. And and West Indies cricket in general, that's how they play their cricket, even from top to bottom. Everyone plays their cricket in a way like they try to hit go hard from the top. That's how West Indies bats in general. So for
Yeah.
Rahman Powell, it shouldn't be a problem chasing at the death. And I think what really demoralized him was that match against Sunrisers during the league stage, where Rajasthan was 8-1, 8 wins and 1 loss, and they could have won that match. They needed 2 runs off the last ball, and Robin Powell got out LBW. That was a great ball by Bhuvi. But even then, if you're a batsman, you back yourself to chase 2 runs off one ball, and him not being able to do that, not even get the 1 run and tie the match, has probably demoralized him for the rest of the season. Because
Mm.
even though you're almost into the playoffs, yes, that is a hard loss to get over. Every match you want to win.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so let's go to the SRH bowlers, Rahul. So I think the spinners were outstanding yesterday. I think, especially Shahbaz Ahmed 3 for 23, 4 overs came as impact player in the first innings, but really made that impact in the second innings, especially with the ball. I think Abhishek Sharma surprising inclusion in the bowling because the pitch sort of slowed down, and Pat Cummins, brilliant captaincy by the way from Pat Cummins, knew that the pitch was slowing down. It was difficult for the RR batters to actually play against spin, and then brought in Abhishek Sharma as a part-time spinner, and he also picked up 2 wickets. I feel like Natarajan was brilliant yesterday, especially in the power play and in the death, both of that. Natarajan 1 for 13 in 4 overs. Seeing how his confidence has boosted this season has been incredible. So, your thoughts talking about the SRH bowling attack, apart from Booby, I think, and maybe Markram as a part time, because I think, Cummins wanted to try out a third spinner, but it didn't work out. But apart from that, your thoughts towards SRH bowling yesterday, especially trying to defend 175 on this pitch.
Yeah, I think they did very well, and I would say, yeah, Natarajan bowled very well. But I think most of the credit goes to Shahbaz Ahmed and Abhishek Sharma. Their bowling in the middle overs that really broke the backbone of Rajasthan Royals. I mean, between them, they got 5 for 47 in 8 overs. I mean, that's the match right there. That
Yeah.
really won Sunrisers the match. And yeah, Pat Cummins, great captaincy yesterday. He knew when to switch around the bowlers, the field placements. He did everything well as a captain yesterday. And I have to say it's been a remarkable turnaround from this franchise. This was the franchise that finished in last place in the previous season, and
Yeah.
Pat Cummins as captain has turned it around and made it uh, a, a finalist. It has put them within one match of winning the IPL. I mean, it,
Hmm.
it is an amazing turnaround. Cummins himself didn't bowl badly. I mean, 1 for 30 in
Yeah.
4 overs. He didn't make life easy for
The batters.
Rajasthan Royals either, but maybe Rajasthan missed a trick by, they did not should have gone after Jaydev Unadkat, even though he bowled 1 over. You should have gone after that 1 over from Unadkat, and maybe they had to take down Pat Cummins too to try and have a chance of winning this, knowing that the spinners are going to be tougher to face. Uh,
Hmm.
they they needed to maybe take down Pat Cummins. That could have put Sunrisers under a little bit of pressure, and of
Absolutely.
course,
Yeah.
they will all obviously say we should have lost 5 wickets between Abhishek Sharma and Shahbaz Ahmed, especially losing 2 wickets to Abhishek Sharma, who is not really considered a main bowler. He's a part timer. He's a batsman who can bowl. Abhishek Sharma, and they gave him 2 wickets, so that is
Yeah.
uh, a major disappointment from a Rajasthan Royals point of
But
view.
I think Ravishek Sharma bowled really well, even though he was a part-time spin. I think that pitch really helped him, in step off, especially if you bowl really well towards the lines and lines and lengths. I think you can get a wicket, and he really bowled straight to the wicket, and he bowled to the pitch, according to the pitch conditions. So I feel even though he's a part-time spinner, like he bowled according to what that pitch offered, in my opinion. Seeing how I watched yesterday.
Yes, yes, absolutely. He bowled very well, but I feel at least they shouldn't have lost wickets. They should have. They didn't really have a plan. They decided that they will just go all out, try to hit everything, and that didn't work, because sometimes when a bowler is bowling well, even a part timer, you need to have a certain plan and decide. Okay, let's at least not give them wickets, or yeah, they didn't have clarity over which bowler they're going to go after,
Yeah.
and they didn't take down even the battles that were in their favor. That
Mm.
I think that really cost Rajasthan Royals the match. That being said, these things might have maybe brought them closer to the target, might not have won them the match. I mean, the margin of defeat is very wide, 36 runs.
Yeah.
So even if
Agree.
they scored a few more runs against Pat Cummins, or maybe a few more runs against Abhishek Sharma, that wouldn't have made much of a difference. You just have to say that Sunrisers were the better team.
Absolutely. Your thoughts towards Natarajan as well, like his season as a whole, because last season was quite disappointing from Natarajan, but seeing this season, because he was part of India as well, back in 2018, 2019. Then he lost his place due to his form, in both India and SRH. But I think this season has sort of been like a comeback season for him. So Your thoughts towards Natarajan, because this is the sort of player that came from TNPL and who did really well, especially with his Yorkers, and really surprised everyone, and then came to the IPL also like in a flurry, the way that he performed, but sort of declined in the last maybe 2 seasons, but has come back really, really strong this season. So your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a great season for Natarajan, and his bowling in the death overs is one of the things that has really helped Sunrisers Hyderabad very nicely. I mean, it's helped them. It's really strengthened their bowling, helped them restrict teams to lower totals, and especially when teams are batting first against Sunrisers, that puts a lot of pressure on their bowling lineup, because Sunrisers with the bat they come out going hard right from the first. I mean, Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma were playing like prime Hayden and Gilchrist. They were playing at that level, especially the run chase they made against Lucknow Super Giants, where they chased 160 target in 10 overs. They really put pressure on the batting lineup of the other team to play at their level. And then when you have to face bowlers like T. Natarajan, Shahbaz Ahmed, Pat Cummins, it's not easy. So this is a team that can really go on and win the IPL, and I believe they have what it takes to overturn their result of the qualifier one against KKR and win this final. They will
Yeah,
also have home support, you could say, in Chennai, because of
Hyderabad
various
is close to
reasons.
Chennai. Yeah,
Yeah, and also
Hyderabad is.
it's also a Tamil owned franchise. That
Yeah.
thing is also there.
Mm,
But yeah,
definitely.
Natarajan, I feel I don't think Sunrisers are going to release him after this season they have, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would say maybe CSK should try getting
Yeah.
Natarajan in the team. I mean, a player
Mm,
from Tamil Nadu, and he will know this Chennai ground very well.
yeah.
That is the thing, and that'll be a huge weapon for him in this final. He knows this
Absolutely.
Chepa ground very well, and he can probably give trouble to at the death for KKR. And
Yeah.
we
Okay.
can't say that KKR's what to say their middle order is that strong. It's not as strong as people hype it to be. They have a very strong top order. If Bhuvi and Cummins
I
can
mean, this
give,
season, I think Rinku Singh hasn't been in that great form this season, and Russell hasn't quite delivered when it comes to middle order, because they've really heavily relied on the top order, especially Narayan and Salt, and even Shreyas Iyer for a few matches, and then Venkatesh Iyer also has been in good form, so they've really relied on the top order, and Rinku's form hasn't been that great. Now I question why Rinku Singh has been selected. Though, sorry, I mean, yeah, maybe Rinku
Rinku
Singh.
Singh is in reserves in the T20 World Cup squad. I mean, based on his form before this IPL, I wouldn't have put him in the reserves. I would have put him in the main squad ahead of Shivam
Shivam
Dubey.
Dubey.
I mean, look, Shivam Dubey was on fire in the first half of the season for CSK, and that kind
Yeah,
of influenced the selector's decision. But uh, I mean, the problem is we need another all rounder to support Hardik Pandya. We don't really have that. I mean, the all rounders we have, the other options are Jadeja or Akshar Patel, but can we rely on Jadeja or Akshar Patel with the bat? That is the question. And then with the ball, Jadeja has been ordinary this season, and not just outside of Chepauk, but even in Chennai, he's been very ordinary this season. Ravindra Jadeja. I
yeah,
mean, we can probably depend that on him to rise to the occasion in a big match like the semis or the finals. But you can't. That's what they're relying on. But you can't do that every time. You can't choose a player just because waiting for them to perform in that one big match. That will not happen every time, every single time. It's not
yeah,
going to happen
definitely.
that way. And I mean, we can bring in Akshar Patel. I mean, yeah, he'll be a decent bowler. We'll have six bowlers in the attack, but can he
Do you
play
think
at
like
number
India will?
seven?
Do you think like India will go with three seamers and two spinners maybe like in the attack, because you have Hardik Pandya at six. So where do you see like the number 7 to 11 according to you, like seeing how the US pitchers behave and all?
I mean, on the US pitches, I don't think it's going to, especially, I mean, playing in New York. I don't think it's going. The first three matches are in New York. I don't see it really taking pace or spin. Exactly, it's going to be a pretty flat wicket. I'm even hearing the boundaries are shorter than Chinnaswamy Stadium in New York, so it's going to be batting friendly conditions. Nevertheless, I mean, in any conditions, you need six bowlers. In our case, it's going to be like four bowlers, and two of them are going to be all rounders. So we have four bowlers, I believe. I mean, number 8 to number 11, it's a proper tail for Team India. It's proper tail enders, and then number 5 will probably be Hardik Pandya. Number 6, Rishabh Pant. Top 4 will be Rohit, Jaiswal, Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant at number 6, wicket keeper. I mean, we have Sanju Samson as a backup option for Rishabh Pant, and he'll have to be a backup. That's all. And then number 7, uh, that spot I think will have to be somebody who can bowl. And while Shivam Dube, yeah, he can hit. He can be a big hitter, but we can't rely on him as a sixth bowler, to be honest, because there's a chance that if we even give him one over of bowling, he might cost India the match.
So you
There's
see
that
Jadeja coming
danger.
at 7. So you see Jadeja coming
Jadeja,
at.
Jadeja can come at 7, but the problem is his batting form has been ordinary. He's been ordinary in ordinary form with the bowling too. I mean, his only X factor is that he will suddenly raise his game when you don't expect it.
Hmm.
When you least expect it, he will raise his game when the match is on the line. The team is under pressure. He's a player who can suddenly raise his game. He's somewhat maybe our equivalent of Ben Stokes, you could say, in some ways. But
Yes.
you can't rely on that every time. To be frank,
Okay.
there's going to be a time when even he will not be able to do it. Based on his form in the regular grind of things, we can't select him in the team. Akshar Patel has looked better in this IPL compared to Jadeja, and he can bat and bowl. And I think we'd have to go with him at number 7 because he can probably bat better than Jadeja right now, and he can bowl better than Shivam Dube. So based on those two things, probably number
But do you
7 is
see?
going to
But
be
do
Akshar
you
Patel.
see like Dravid doing that though, dropping Jadeja in the bench and bringing in Akshay Patel at 7? Because I don't see that happening. Even though we are favoring Akshay Patel to play ahead of Jadeja right now.
Probably not, but I mean, especially looking at what Rohit Sharma says about using spinners in this World Cup, it probably will not happen. Shivam Dube will probably not be selected, but there'll be either Jadeja or Akshar Patel, um, maybe for the Super 8 where we play in the West Indies, and maybe the fourth match that we're playing against Canada, which is in Florida, because the pitches in Florida will also be fairly spin friendly, but as far as New York is concerned, maybe we could get away with playing Shivam Dube. Maybe we could try, at least in the matches against Ireland and USA, we can try that experiment of Shivam Dube. Against Pakistan, I don't know. Maybe it could be Akshar Patel or Jadeja, but
Jadeja.
we have to see. The number 7 spot, I think, is a real toss up. And then the bowling combinations between number 8 and number 11, we have to see whether we're going to play both Mohammad Siraj and Arshdeep Singh along with Jasprit Bumrah, or only one of them along with Bumrah. If we play only one of Mohammad Siraj and Arshdeep Singh along with Bumrah, then that means having both Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal in the team. Probably, I think that's probably what they will go with. So one of the pace bowling slots will be a toss up between Siraj and Arshdeep, and hopefully they support Bumrah well, because both of them, we know they can get wickets with the new ball, but whether they can do it without conceding too many runs, that is the issue.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about the finals also a bit because Rahul, I mean KKR also, I think in a final after 3 years since 2021. SRH since for 2020 they've been in the finals. So your thoughts, I mean, especially KKR, I mean, because people are trolling, especially when Gambhir was going after Stark and, going for 25 crores, and you've seen the effects of Stark, especially in the playoffs, and same with Cummins as well, although didn't get much trolling because, we know Cummins is a match winner. So it's like between the two teams that spend the most money on a player, and plus, both teams have been pretty much consistent throughout this tournament. So how do you see this going? Because I think KKR have beaten SRH three times, if I'm not mistaken. It's the fourth time they're going to play each other. So do you see SRH going to give a fight to KKR this time around? Because last time in Ahmedabad, pretty much SRH was not the better team in that, and they didn't perform up to expectation. But can we see at least in Chepauk SRH giving a good fight against KKR?
And definitely. And one thing, I mean, generally in IPL history, we see most teams that win qualifier one go on to win the final two. That's been the trend. But there have been cases where the team that lost qualifier one went on to win the final. I mean, and Chennai is going to be a little bit different from Ahmedabad. It's not going to favor the chasing side too much, like Ahmedabad did. And SRH has good spinners. They have some spinners who can trouble KKR's middle order. They have the death bowling. They have T. Natarajan. They have the X Factor Pat Cummins as captain as well. I want to play up the Cummins captaincy factor because Pat Cummins as Australian captain, when he became captain, actually he didn't really become captain by selector's choice. It actually happened because Tim Payne got into a controversy and Cummins got
Yeah,
the captaincy of Australia.
yeah,
That was
definitely.
in December 2021 when the Ashes started. And
Yeah,
people thought, were wondering how Cummins would be as a captain. And they went on to win the World Test Championship under Pat Cummins. Then the
yeah,
ODI World Cup came. People thought Cummins has only done Test captaincy. Will he adjust to ODI captaincy? And Australia had injury issues going into the World Cup. They even lost their first two World Cup matches. People wrote them off. And
mm,
Sri Lanka, I think they got to 100 for no loss in the third match against
mm.
Australia. Sorry to bring that up, Pawan, but
No,
yeah,
no, no worries. Yeah,
yeah. And so people wrote them off. And then there was that 91 for 7 against Afghanistan where Maxwell played that superb innings.
yeah,
But Australia then ended the tournament in a very fitting way. They started off by losing to India and South Africa, and then they defeated South Africa and India back to back to win the World Cup. And Pat Cummins lifted the ODI World Cup. Then they said, I remember, I think Varun said this at the start of the IPL, but that about Cummins' captaincy in T20, where people are saying that he can't captain in T20 cricket.
yeah. Agree.
And
Mm.
now he has led a last place, lifted a last place Sunrisers Hyderabad team from the bottom to the top, almost to the top. I mean,
Yeah,
coming to the final. And
absolutely.
this is almost the same squad that Sunrisers Hyderabad had last year. I mean, not too many of the players playing for Sunrisers this year uh, were different from last year. So same set of
Apart
players.
from Cummins and Head, I think. Apart from Cummins and
Apart
Head,
from Cummins and Head, I mean, not very different. They have it's a almost same set of players
and
have performed differently. And yeah,
even
Travis
Nitish
Head at
Kumar
the
Reddy has
top.
been brilliant. Even Nitish Kumar Reddy has
Nitish
been brilliant, the
Nitish
uncapped
Kumar
player.
Reddy and Travis Head. I actually called it. If you remember, back in December, I called it saying Sunrisers will go for Travis Head. Travis Head is the suitable pick for Sunrisers Hyderabad for opening the batting, and he has proven me right in this season. He's been absolutely brilliant for
So do you think
Sunrisers,
like
and
7.5 was injustice to Travis said? Do you think that he could have gone more, especially in the auction, seeing how he's performed? Because I thought, he will go definitely above 10 crores, seeing how he was performing the World Cup and all, although you can't compare
absolutely.
ODI to
I
T20.
definitely thought he would go for more, but I don't think Sunrisers Hyderabad is complaining. I mean, getting a player like Travis Head for 7.5 crores. And Travis Head raised his game in the World Test Championship final. He did so in the ODI World Cup final.
Yeah,
And, I think the
absolutely.
stage is set for him. If he plays a very big innings uh, in this final, he can win it for Sunrisers Hyderabad, regardless of what Sunil Narayan does. Because one thing we know is Travis Head has big match temperament. We don't know if exactly if Sunil Narayan has the same temperament. That is a question mark. It has to be said. That
Yeah,
being said, Narayan does have good opening support with Remanola Gurbaz. So this is going to be a good battle between two strong opening pairs. I mean, Gurbaz and Narayan versus Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma. But I feel Sunrisers Hyderabad, I would give them a slight upper hand when it comes to opening the batting, because Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma really have some a greater X factor that can help Sunrisers win this final.
yeah. Who are you favoring, Rahul, ahead of the final? I am with SRH because I believe the way that Cummins has been leading this season, and with the form that the openers have been. Yes, KKR openers have been brilliant. Especially Narayan, but I'm not really sure in Chepak whether Narayan can perform like this also, like in the previous matches that he's been performing. And I feel, yes, Narayan has been brilliant with the ball too, and Chakravarti also knows the pitches very well because he also plays in TNPL, so he also knows the Chepak pitch very well. But I just feel, I'm having a feeling that SRH, even the middle order is good, the top order is also performing at the moment. The bowlers are also doing well, so it's pretty much balanced. Yes, they lost in Ahmedabad, but if they can win the toss, and if they can set up a score like what they did on Friday, especially, maybe they'll have to score more than 175, I feel, against KKR. Maybe if they can score about 190 or 200, I think they have a chance of defending that total, I feel. So your thoughts, especially because it's going to be really, really tight, I feel, this match, because yes, SRH lost bad in qualifier 1, but I think with them playing the eliminator at Chepauk, I think this could be advantage for SRH, seeing how their bowlers also, like Natarajan, also have been playing in Chepauk multiple of times, and especially the way that Shabazz Ahmad also has been performing now. It's a huge advantage for SRH right now.
Yes, absolutely, and perhaps they can even throw in an Adam Markram or a Washington Sundar at Kolkata Knight Riders, and I think they'd be all at sea if against these bowlers playing in Chennai, if they were to do that. And the other thing is, I think Cummins' captaincy is a huge factor for Sunrisers going into this final, because while there is the history in IPL of teams winning qualifier one and winning the final, uh, Pat Cummins is made of a different gravy, to be honest, because I can tell you the ODI World Cup example where they lost to India and South Africa to start the tournament, and then they turned it around and defeated those teams
Mm.
ultimately to go on and lift the trophy. So, uh, Pat Cummins can turn around a team very quickly. We have seen that, and Sunrisers. Well, this time we have to say Pat Cummins won't have to silence the crowd, because the crowd might be on his side in this final.
Yeah.
But I think Sunrisers do have the edge. I think also playing this extra match on Chepauk wickets, which Kolkata Knight Riders have not done, is also going to serve them well. And actually going into today's match, I mean today for me, today's match. Sunrisers Hyderabad never won a match in Chepauk. So now they have turned that around. They've gotten that monkey off their back. KKR, they've won in Chepauk maybe a few times, but they don't have a glowing record in Chennai either. So both these teams, as far as record in Chennai is concerned, they're on even footing. But Sunrisers Hyderabad have seen these conditions once and played a match here, whereas KKR have not. And I mean, the one disadvantage of winning qualifier one and coming to the final, if any disadvantages are there, is that you have 1 week gap in between your matches, in between qualify almost a week. You have a longer gap, so SRH will be more in the rhythm than compared to KKR.
Although I
That
think
being said,
KKR has more rest than
they,
SRH. Plus, I
sure,
think both times KKR has gone to the qualifier one and won. They won the IPL back in 2012 and 2014. So that also could be a
that
huge
was a
plus
very
for.
long time ago, but well, KKR does have fond memories of this ground, I'll have to say, because this is where they lifted their first IPL trophy in Chennai.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And same date as well. What a coincidence. I mean, same date, 26th May 2012 was the date where they lifted their first IPL trophy. And
Mm.
they stopped CSK from getting a hat trick in their own den. That was a memorable victory for them. And now 12 years later, exactly 12 years later, same date on May in
Okay.
2024. They're again playing a final in Chennai. So it is,
And Gambhir is mentor also. He was captain back then for KKR.
yeah,
Now he's the mentor of KKR.
Gambhir is a mentor of the team. And but we have to say, yeah, you could say Gambhir being a mentor has been a big factor for KKR this season. But Gambhir was mentor of LSG as well, and LSG, didn't exactly set the stage on fire. They came to eliminator in both their seasons, but they couldn't go further. So,
I think
but
you need to give credit to Shreyas Iyer the way that he's captain also. He's been a very underrated captain, and the way that he's been listening to Gambhir's tactics, and it has sort of worked. Compared to KL Rahul, I think Shreyas Iyer is more of a smarter captain. He did it with Delhi Capitals also, reaching the finals back in 2020 as well. And we know the capabilities of Shreyas Iyer as a captain. So your also thoughts on Shreyas Iyer, the way that he's captained this team? Well, his batting has dipped a bit since leaving Delhi Capitals, but I think his captaincy has been quite smart. Especially his fielding tactics, and the bowling rotations also has been outstanding from him. So your thoughts on his captaincy?
yeah, he's had a lot of clarity as a captain for KKR in this season. I think he's done a very good job, and Gambhir has done a very good job of mentoring the team. Yeah, I mean, on paper, actually, if you look at this team, it's not. This is not the most impressive looking team on paper, but they have performed well as a unit, and they have really performed well as a team. And I
Absolutely.
think it's a great example of how you don't need great individuals to make a great team. If you just have players who can gel well as a team, then you can be successful. In fact, that's been the hallmark of Chennai Super Kings over this season. I mean, sometimes the best looking teams are on paper are not the ones that can win you trophies.
Yeah, definitely. Who are you going to favor in the finals, Rahul? Because I've already said them going with Sunrisers Hyderabad in the finals. Yeah, maybe due to Shahzad being captain and him being retained. That's one reason why I'm supporting SRH. And Cummins captaincy also. And since I'm in Australia, also I'm a huge fan of Cummins now. The way that he's been leading the team to the WTC final, has won it, and the World Cup as well. I'm really a huge fan of the way that Cummins is captaining SRH, because he came out of nowhere, out of the blues, and as you said, also became Australia captain. And the way that he's led in all three formats. And I also doubted Cummins, captaining SRH, going to the finals, as a 2020 captain. I also doubted, because his performance wasn't that great when he played for KKR. So I didn't know like how Cummins will perform with SRH and leading the team also. But he's really proven me wrong, and a lot of fans wrong, especially with the way that he's captain this SRH team. So your thoughts on who's going to win the finals?
Well, I think I'm going to favor as Sunrisers Hyderabad, but not by too much. I think I'm going to say 55% chance for Sunrisers Hyderabad. This match actually has a lot of history attached to it, not to the level of CSK versus MI in 2019, but the history is both these teams are going for a third IPL title. I mean, the reason I say Sunrisers is going for a third one is because actually one of their titles they won it as Deccan Chargers, which is basically the same home ground. So I'm counting the 2009 title and the
But
2016
although
title as
different
two
teams, right?
titles.
I don't think like
I
Deccan
mean, different.
Chargers transferred to Sunrisers Hyderabad because it was terminated, right? Deccan Chargers, and then they made a new team called Sunrisers Hyderabad under new owners.
Uh, yeah, that is true. I mean, I consider it as one because the same home ground and same fan base for
Yeah,
that team. So
absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
reason why I think they won two titles. And
yeah.
one thing in common between both those titles, they won both with the Australian captains.
Yeah.
2009
Mm.
under Adam
And
Gilchrist, 2016 under
2016 under
David
Warner.
Warner. Back when there was no CSK and I switched to RCB, but they disappointed me as usual.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's go a bit off topic. Yeah. So we'll stop talking about IPL over here. I just want to talk, since Rahul's in USA, and because you follow USA cricket as well. I just want to talk about USA versus Bangladesh.
Oh
Because
yes.
it is very shocking to see what is going on in international cricket right now, especially with Bangladesh cricket right now. Because I don't get how they're performing right now, because seriously, I mean, yes, USA cricket is not made up of USA cricketers. There is, Indian cricketers. There is, the minority of USA players. I mean, the culture of USA players, multicultural country. So and you know, plenty of Indians, and Corey Anderson is also playing for USA now,
Yeah.
and many Indian players, actually cricketers playing for USA as well. But the way that they're performing against Bangladesh has been brilliant, so, and Bangladesh has been pretty much disappointing as well. So your thoughts, USA winning this series, it's their first, major win against, their first win against a full member status team, a series win. So your thoughts in about this series, did you expect USA to perform this well? Being in USA as well, did you
No,
expect USA to perform this well?
no, absolutely not, and especially because one thing people outside will not really know is that USA cricket is driven by a lot of politics. There's a lot of politics involved in USA cricket, and as well as with the board as well. And the ICC has also had some issues in dealing with the USA cricket, as far as I've heard.
I
So
think
yeah, it is a
USA is
very
going to be
big
banned,
surprise.
right? I think USA is going to be banned
There
after
is
the
there
2020
is
World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, there is a chance of them being banned after the T20 World Cup. Although Major League Cricket has been scheduled for July, that is there. But
Yeah,
yeah, most it looks like they're going to be banned. So this is not really a team that you can say is on the rise. To be honest, this is not,
yeah,
especially given that most of the USA is a country where most people have never even heard of cricket
definitely,
before. So it's a real shame that Bangladesh has lost to USA. They should be winning this series 3-0, but they didn't even win the series. So that is very humiliating. But yeah, I mean, having a player like Corey Anderson in the team, that really helped them, because Corey Anderson, he's played for New Zealand, an established cricketing nation like
absolutely.
that. So his experience definitely helps. But otherwise, this team is filled with a bunch of no namers, and in fact, there's a lot of talk that even Monank Patel has gotten the captaincy through politics in this team. So yeah, this is probably a huge upset for Bangladesh, and one you couldn't expect, because they just defeated a tougher team like Zimbabwe. They won that series 4-1. So this is a bolt from the blue, losing to US. I hope. I mean, of course, India and Pakistan are not like Bangladesh, but I hope USA doesn't cause any upset to, uh,
Either
at
place.
least not to India. At least, hopefully, they will not defeat India. If they defeat Pakistan, fine. But
Yeah.
hopefully, they will not defeat India, because Corey Anderson, he could probably win a match on his own. I
Mm.
hope he doesn't pick the match against India to find his form. But yeah, it's been a good two matches from the US. Especially, I think the first match, winning the first T20 was very special. They won it from nowhere. I think
Harmit Singh.
94 for
Harmit Singh.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, from 94 for 5 in 15 overs, they managed to chase down 155 runs. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a great run chase. And you have to say that for Bangladesh as well, Tawhid Hridoy in that first match didn't play very well. I mean, 58 or 47 balls is not a very impressive strike rate. And Litan Das gave Bangladesh a bad start in that game, 14 off 15 balls. And yeah,
Yeah.
second T20 match, really a thrilling. That was also a very thrilling win. I feel Bangladesh should have won that
Won that.
match,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
that was a match they should have won, but they couldn't do it. And
I
especially
think
with
Ali
Shakib
Khan was
Al,
super. I think Ali Khan was superb, especially he's been playing in
Ali
IPL as
Khan
well, and he's
really
like
bowled well in the.
very.
Ali Khan was brilliant in the last 3 overs. I mean, to win US that match, because I think Bangladesh needed only 20 off the last 3 overs, and you had Shakib Al Hasan batting. So you thought, even though they lost 6 wickets at that point, you would have thought that Bangladesh will get over the line in this match. They level the series. So it's yeah, it's a big worry for Bangladesh. I mean, not winning this series, because if you think of, they came to this series actually thinking of it as practice for the T20 World Cup, because they're going to play the first round in USA conditions as well. And
Yeah,
you look at their first round, see, if they're not even defeating USA, what are they going to do against South Africa, Sri Lanka, even Netherlands and Nepal? Are not going to be that easy. And I mean, Nepal defeating Bangladesh, watch out for that match. If Nepal wins against Bangladesh, I will not be surprised, frankly
yeah.
speaking.
But they don't have
Nepal is,
this guy. They don't have Samdeep Navishan because his visa got rejected due to the
that
raping
is,
allegation. So they're going to play without him.
see, Sandeep Lamichane has not been playing for Nepal for a long time because he's of
But he
his
played the
personal life.
qualifiers, Rahul. He played the qualifiers and he was the key player, as to why Nepal qualified to the 2020 World Cup, if
Absolutely,
not for
but
him. Yeah.
you see, Nepal has a lot of talent. To be honest, they're an up and coming team, so they wouldn't just
That's
be
true.
coming up this way if Sandeep Lamichane was the only good cricketer. They obviously
Yeah,
have a
that
lot
is
of,
true. I agree. Yeah,
yeah,
because
and
there's
they have,
Vishal Batal. Yeah, the batters are
yeah,
good, especially from Nepal. Yeah,
see, they have a lot of good cricketers in their team who can perform. That's how they managed to come up through these qualifiers. Even the ODI World Cup qualifiers last year, they came all the way to the final qualifying round, which
yeah,
was held in Zimbabwe, and they managed. Although they couldn't win a match there except against the US, they were able to, come that far. For a team like them, that is big.
true.
And cricket is going to become very big in Nepal in the future, because they have a border with India. And you look at the matches they play in Nepal, huge crowds, people even sitting on trees and watching matches. And there is a huge craze for cricket over there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they will win. I'm not sure if they will win a match in this first round. I mean, all the teams that they're playing are definitely above them. There's no doubt about that. I can't say for sure that they will win a match, but if they are to cause upsets, I would say they will defeat.
Bangladesh,
They can defeat
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh or Netherlands. One of these two teams they can defeat. I'm not sure where their match against Netherlands is, but if it's in Florida, they have a very good chance, because Florida has spin friendly conditions, and subcontinent sides against European sides, always a favorable
It's
matchup
in
in spin
Dallas.
conditions.
Netherlands versus Nepal is in Dallas, and it's their first match.
Okay, I'm not sure how Dallas will play. I mean, that probably will be favorable more to Netherlands compared to Nepal. But
Yeah,
Nepal has played there before. They must be familiar with the conditions, because during ODI World Cup qualifiers, during the ICC Cricket World Cup League 2, they played a few matches there in the US. That's where they were playing, not in Dallas, but in Houston. So
is Lauderhill in Florida or is it somewhere?
Lauderhill is in Florida, correct?
Yeah, so they're going to play against Sri Lanka in Florida, and then I think they're gonna play Nepal playing South Africa in Kingstown. I'm not sure where. I think that's in the Caribbean, if I'm not mistaken, and then Bangladesh also in Kingstown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
So
West Indies. Yeah, two matches in West Indies and in the
yeah.
Caribbean, and two matches in the USA.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm surprised actually Bangladesh versus Nepal is not in the US. I think two entire groups are not playing any matches in the US. I think the groups
I think
involving
Sri
India,
Lanka are not
Pakistan,
playing. I think Sri Lanka are not playing any match in the. Sorry,
they
they're
are
playing in Saint
there.
Lucia. Sorry, against Netherlands in Saint Lucia,
They're
and
playing
then they're
against
playing.
Nepal in Florida. They're playing
Yeah,
that match against
and then they're
Nepal.
playing against. They have three matches in USA and one match in West Indies. So against Bangladesh, it's in Dallas. That's going to be a huge match because I think
First,
that
they're
is one of the
starting
first
off
few
against
matches that was
South Africa
sold
and New
out.
York. They're playing a match in New York. That is against South
South Africa.
Africa. Against Bangladesh, they're playing in Dallas, and then against Nepal, they're playing in Florida.
And
I mean,
everyone will watch out for Netherlands versus South Africa because in the last 2020 World Cup, Netherlands did
and
upset
ODI
South
World
Africa.
Cup, they defeated
They
South
def-
Africa.
yeah, in both the formats they
So
defeated South Africa. So I think again South Africa will get those nerves against Netherlands again. And this Netherlands team you cannot underestimate because I feel it's a pretty much good squad and it's very similar to what they had 2 years ago. And they still have Scott Edwards as captain. So we never know what will happen,
it's not.
especially in it's in New York as well. So you never know what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, I'm sure Netherlands will get a lot of support in New York. Lots of Dutch people live there. But anyway, It's going to be an interesting. I think that is the toughest group of all the groups: South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, and Nepal. I think that's a very unpredictable group. Anything can happen. I can't even say South Africa is safe because they can choke. Last T20 World Cup, I thought South Africa will top the group and easily get into the semi-final, but
Yeah,
they ended up finishing behind India and Pakistan, which I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be South Africa and India, but it didn't
difficult.
pan out that way. I
Yeah,
mean, South Africa, they have a way of choking matches,
but this
which they
time they
should
don't
be
have
winning.
Babuma as captain. They have Markram as captain, but then Markram hasn't been in much good form also as of late. So I'm not sure
Markram is
whether.
still a player who can play T20 cricket, and we know, Aiden Markram. I think Markram is the captain, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
mistaken.
Markram is the captain. Yes,
Markram, see, Aiden Markram has led South Sunrisers Hyderabad to back-to-back titles in the first two editions of the South SAT20.
but
So
that's
he
in
will.
South Africa, Rahul, and we saw in the
True.
IPL what happened. That SRH became last also under Markram's captaincy, and then he lost
That
the
is
captaincy
that
as
is
well.
there. I mean, but right now he's the most ideal candidate for captaincy, and we know he can play T20 cricket. It's not the same as Bavuma captaining the team, where
That
Bavuma
is
is
true.
dead weight,
Exactly.
and
But
Aiden
aren't we not
Markram will be
talking on
useful
top
for his
the
spin as
biggest?
well. He will when it comes to playing in the West Indies, and if they have a match in Florida, I don't know, but they will.
I think they have two matches in New York. Because Sri Lanka and South Africa. Oh,
Sorry,
they
no
have three
matches
matches.
in
They have three
Florida.
matches in New York. So that will
Okay,
help South Africa actually because they have one in the Caribbean and they have all three matches in New York, starting from Sri
so
Lanka. So
true.
that will pretty much help South Africa this time around because they're playing on the same pitch
Absolutely.
and they know the
That
conditions.
is it'll help their batsmen those matches in New York. But when they go to West Indies, I think Maiden Markram will be valuable for his spin bowling as well. He can contribute from that angle, so he'll be very valuable in this T20 World Cup. And one thing is, we shouldn't give too much importance to franchise cricket in general when it comes
Yeah,
to winning
captaining
franchise
in
tournaments and uh, international tournaments, because the dynamics are totally different.
absolutely.
I mean,
But I mean,
uh,
West Indies did defeat South Africa in the first 2020 in West Indies. I mean, West Indies also don't have the captain Roman Powell, and South Africa also didn't have Aiden Markram and Klaasen. So I don't think it was much of a difference, because Brandon King, if I'm not mistaken, was leading that West Indies team in the first 2020, and they pretty much defeated South Africa comfortably. It was just Klaasen and Markram
unfortunately,
absent.
I mean, only Riza Hendricks played a good innings for them, unfortunately. So that's why South Africa went down. Otherwise, they still have a strong team. I mean, lots of SAT20 talent coming through. Yeah, it's a rough match for them, but hopefully many of them will learn from this experience going forward. And let's see if South Africa can come back and in these next two T20 matches, now that IPL is ending. I mean, next match probably. Oh, sorry, I think series will be over by the time IPL is finished.
Yeah.
So anyway, uh, yeah. So hopefully, I think South Africa can make the Super Eight. Most likely, I think they will make the Super Eight in this tough group.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Hopefully,
South Africa
but
and Sri Lanka most likely. I think going
with
to Super
the
8.
I mean, okay, I'd like to say Sri Lanka will also make it, but we have to see. I think, Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh, now there's a lot of history behind that fixture. And in fact, after India versus Pakistan, Sri Lanka
Because I
versus
don't see Sri
Bangladesh.
Lanka losing. I don't see Sri Lanka losing to Netherlands and Nepal because Sri Lanka have a good record against Netherlands and Nepal should be a pretty much easy, box to
Probably,
draw.
I mean,
It's going to
probably
be the
not.
Bangladesh match
And I think they can defeat Netherlands and Nepal. But let's say, a scenario like they defeat South Africa, and then, sorry, they defeat South Africa and then they lose to Bangladesh, and then South Africa beats Bangladesh. That kind of a situation, then,
situation.
you
Yeah,
never know. It will
anything
come
can
down
come.
to net run rate
Net run rate. Yeah,
ultimately.
anything can happen. That is
Yeah, but
that is very
uh,
true. Yeah, but I
all
want to talk
in.
about Group C also, Rahul, because we have New Zealand, we have Afghanistan, we have West Indies. Forget about Papua New Guinea and Uganda over there because I don't think they can cause anything in that group. But those three teams over there, because Afghanistan are a pretty much good 2020 team, although we sort of don't give them much recognition. Yes, they're good in ODIs as well. They did brilliant in the 2020 in the ODI World Cup, but West Indies are it's their home conditions as well, and we've seen now West Indies improving so much over the past 2 years. Although they had a decline right now, but I feel like they have progressed really well in the past 2 years. Beating, I think they beat South Africa. They beat England, I think, if I'm not
They
mistaken,
defeated
and
England, yes.
they beat a couple of good teams at home. So how do you see that group going out? Because there's three teams contending for the Super Eights over there, so it's not going to be easy amongst those three teams who are going to go through.
Well, I would probably back New Zealand and West Indies. Yes, Afghanistan, they made a lot of progress in white ball cricket, and they play a lot of franchise cricket which they can bring into their national team.
Yeah,
But I still feel they're a work in progress in T20 cricket. I don't think they're up to the level of New Zealand or West Indies yet. They can be competitive, no doubt, but I don't think for them to defeat New Zealand or West Indies is going to be a little bit hard for them. And West Indies, they're the home team. There's pressure of, I mean, the only thing where West Indies maybe can be knocked out is if they come under the pressure of expectations, and they lose to both Afghanistan and New Zealand. Then it's possible that they don't make the Super 8, but that's a very unlikely scenario. I don't see it happening.
yeah,
I think
same.
it's
I
most
agree. I
likely going
agree.
to be West Indies and
I feel like
New
West Indies
Zealand.
can be contenders for the title. Also, I feel they could go as underdogs. With the way that they've been performing recently, I think
I don't
many
even see
people
them
are
as
out.
I don't even see them as underdogs, to be frank. In fact, I think they have a better chance than India and Pakistan at winning this trophy, and
Yeah,
they can really defeat even England or Australia on their day.
yeah,
And we have seen them beating South Africa recently, so they can win on their day. There's in their home conditions, so
absolutely,
I
no doubt.
don't really see much of a problem with them reaching the Super 8, and it's not the same as Group D really, with this so many good teams: South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, and Nepal. You can't compare this to a group that has Papua New Guinea and Uganda in it.
Yeah,
You can't.
definitely, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
India and Pakistan, Australia and England, I think these are guaranteed. Uh, these teams are guaranteed to be in the Super 8. Looking at
yeah.
their groups, so hopefully, if Pakistan does not screw up against Ireland or
That's what I
USA,
just wanted
they
to talk
should.
about Pakistan versus Ireland, because Ireland has defeated Pakistan recently, although Pakistan won the series, but you never know what's going to happen over there. USA also coming in good form to the 2020 World Cup. Ireland also have been defeating teams, so I'm not sure about Pakistan right now with the way that they're playing under Baba Azam. Yes, they won the series against Ireland, but I really, really fear about Pakistan coming into the 2020 World Cup, whether an upset can occur with teams like Ireland, Scotland, and Canada. I don't think Pakistan might lose, but USA and Ireland, you never know whether they can beat Pakistan. If they have on their day, if they perform well, I think they can defeat Pakistan.
I think I mean look, Pakistan, they're not as bad as Bangladesh in my opinion. I mean USA, no matter how well they perform, I think still beating Pakistan is going to be a bit far fetched for US, but Ireland can. And in fact, 2007 ODI World Cup in West Indies, Ireland did defeat Pakistan and knock them out
Yeah,
in the first round. So
yeah,
yeah, Pakistan has to be very careful of that. Of course, in a competition you don't take any team lightly, but
yeah.
yeah, if any upset is to happen in that group, I think it would be Ireland defeating Pakistan, or even Ireland defeating India. I'm not going to say even India is safe from losing to Ireland, and that is our very first match. And India has to be very careful of that first match because we're playing Ireland first, and we're coming in with very little practice. I have to say, India, although it looks like the best team in that group, they're very underprepared for this tournament because you can't rely on a 2 months IPL alone
But I
to
don't see
prepare for
India
a T20
qualifying the
World Cup.
semi-finals. I don't see India qualifying the semi-finals. Although yes, they have a
History
pretty
has
good team.
history has it that in any IPL immediately after a T20 World Cup, sorry, any T20 World Cup immediately after an IPL, India has not made the semis. 2009 we didn't make it. 2010 we didn't. 2021 no, we didn't make it. So this is some history that India would have to turn around. That being said, players often get tired out after 2 months of IPL. I think this is that fatigue is playing a factor in India, not performing well in these tournaments, and also not playing together as a team. It's not just these 2 months that we didn't play together as a team. It's these 1.5 years since the last T20 World Cup. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, throughout 2023, they didn't feature in a single T20 match for India. And
Yep.
they played against Afghanistan finally this year, and Rohit Sharma to score his century against Afghanistan, which people are hyping up so much. He needed Afghanistan to rest all their main bowlers and playing in Chinnaswamy Stadium to get
Yep.
that 100, the smallest ground perhaps
Yeah.
in world cricket.
Yeah.
That's where he scored his century.
Yeah.
So but the other thing is, even though, in a cricket match, generally you have one batsman facing a bowler at any point of time, still, you need to have some kind of team chemistry and some kind of coordination. It's not as simple as you watch IPL and say, ABC performed well for teams XYZ, put them together and we'll have a good combination. It's not that's straightforward. In
Absolutely.
any team sport, you need teams to play together. You need that togetherness in the team to
Mm.
prepare for a tournament. That is, and playing together, that is very important. I mean, it's not enough if you just play IPL, even though it's the same format and everything. Um, See, if you want, I think this is where a coach, Rahul Dravid, has been very weak as a coach, in my opinion, because he lets players take rest whenever they want. And it's like if you're a senior player like Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, they can just say, I'll come straight for the World Cup and I won't play any international matches in between. These kind of things shouldn't be allowed, to be frank, because if you have an intention of sending a certain team to a World Cup, then they should be playing every match together leading up to that World Cup as well. If I were a coach, I will say, look, if you want to be in this T20 World Cup squad, then you have to play T20s for India during that period. No excuses allowed.
Yep.
And doing rest workload management, this should be the exception when playing international matches, not the norm, because these players have central contracts with the board. They're paid to play cricket. They're not paid to take rest. Uh,
Absolutely.
they're they're there to play cricket. And okay, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they said we'll miss T20 because we are preparing for the ODI World Cup. Fair enough. But then the selectors should have said, take retirement from T20 cricket. You can't play the T20 World Cup. And we know what happened in the semis. Virat scored 50 or 40 balls. Rohit scored 27 or 28. You can say that Kohli played that innings against Pakistan, and that's why we got to the semis. But
Yep.
having reached the semis, they didn't perform for us, and that is,
Okay.
in fact, a fear even in this T20 World Cup, because uh, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, we know they can score runs for the team, but if they eat up balls, it won't be of use for the
Absolutely.
team. And
Absolutely.
I think a big problem for India is dependence on individuals in this
Mm.
lineup. It's
Definitely. I
too
don't think they play
focused.
as a team unit. They mostly rely on Kohli and Bumrah and maybe even in the middle
Our
order to
our
perform.
bowling attack, I think, is heavily over dependent on Jasprit Bumrah and Kuldeep Yadav, because
Kuldeep Yadav,
all the
yeah.
bowlers can go for runs. Even
Absolutely.
Yuzvendra Chahal, he can get wickets, but then, if they go for
Can go for
runs,
him.
that
Yeah.
is a problem, because in modern day T20 right now, batsmen are not scared of losing a few wickets. They will keep going for their runs. So if you
Absolutely.
have bowlers that leak runs, it's of no use. And then with the batting, I think, Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma, I had my biggest criticism for him, because with his he's 37 years old right now, doesn't have a good record in T20 World Cup. Not just one T20 World Cup, but for like three or four consecutive T20 World Cups in a row. Any
Yeah.
other player who does nothing for non-performing player for three or four World Cups in a row at 37 years of age wouldn't be in the playing 11, wouldn't be in the squad, let alone being the captain of the team.
Yeah.
And if you say captaincy quota, also 2.5 years of captaincy, we've not even won an ICC tournament under him. either. So where's the argument of captaincy quota coming from either? That I don't understand. And for to accommodate Rohit Sharma in the team, you've had to put Shubman Gill in reserves. Jadeja, again, ordinary record in T20 World Cup, and he's ahead of Rinku Singh. I would have dropped Jadeja to bring in Rinku Singh into the team. And this is where Australian selectors and England selectors, they are ahead of India and Pakistan. Teams like India and Pakistan, and even say Sena countries are ahead of subcontinent teams in this case, because when in Australia, for example, legendary players know when to stop their careers and
Yeah,
when continuing is not in the team's interest, and selectors also know when they have to get rid of players and move on to the future of their team. uh, in
absolutely.
the subcontinent, players, when they achieve a lot for their team, they think they have what to say, honorary membership or something, or full-time membership with their team. They'll play until their last breath, until they're on their deathbed. They'll keep on playing. That is the way they think. Players do not know when to stop, and selectors, out of fear of getting receiving flack, they will not drop those players as well. This is where I really respect MS Dhoni as a captain. A lot of I mean, a lot of fans tell me if we drop Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, we'll absolutely fail. We can't just send a bunch of a fresh team like that to a T20 World Cup. But we won 2007. India won 2007 T20 World Cup by sending a fresh team, dropping seniors. I know for myself, Dhoni received a lot of flack in 2013 when he dropped players like Yuvraj, Gambhir, Harbhajan Singh, Zahir Khan, who all won India the 2011 World Cup
Very good.
and took
Yeah,
a new team. And India went on to win the 2013 Champions
championship.
Trophy, the last time India won an ICC tournament. Under MS Dhoni, this team really acted like Australian selectors or what England selectors do. They
But that's because Dhoni had prepared, 2 years, 1 or 2 years ahead, through to a ICC tournament where I don't see that either from Virat Kohli. We didn't see that from either Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma that they plan ahead of the ICC
Absolutely.
tournaments.
And they don't have the guts that MS Dhoni did to make tough decisions. If you don't have the guts to make tough decisions, you won't go forward in a sport. Your team will not go forward. India won those trophies by making tough decisions, and we wouldn't even have those trophies if not for this 10-year drought. Could have been what 12-year drought, 15-year drought by now, if not for those
With Dhoni.
decisions.
Yeah.
So this is what you have to do. Another thing I think, see, with Australian and English selectors, which is different from Indian selectors, is they know the difference between ODI format and T20 format. In India, we are still going with outdated thinking that players who do well in ODI cricket can play in T20. Players who do well in T20 cricket will be suitable for ODI as well. Whereas Australia and England have adopted the horses for courses strategy, not just recently, even like 10 years ago. Since 10 years ago, they've been adopting this strategy. And since the last time India won an ICC event, Australia and England have been the most successful at the ICC tournaments. England
And
has won,
also, yeah,
Australia has won ODI World Cup twice and the T20 World Cup once. England has won both T20 and ODI World Cup. So they have really always stayed ahead of the curve. You look at Pat Cummins, for example. Pat Cummins, I mean, what a shock that he's not going to captain Australia in this T20 World Cup. I mean, it's a big shock. But Pat Cummins has himself, stayed away, saying Mitchell Marsh would be a more suitable option for a T20 World Cup, even though this is the guy who won uh, World Test Championship and ODI World Cup. You look at Team India, the captain under whom we lost T20 World Cup, World Test Championship, and ODI World Cup is still taking another chance as captain and saying, I mean, people will say this for an eternity, the pro Rohit faction, that we won 10 matches unbeaten until the final. The fact is, we came away without winning the trophy. It doesn't matter how many matches we won before that or how many matches we win after. And people will also dismiss the final. Each time India loses in an ICC event, you'll say people saying it was just a bad day. Uh, this has been happening for 10 years now. How
yeah.
long can uh, Team India keep on losing in a semis or final and saying it's just a bad day. Bad day is always coming at the wrong time, unfortunately, for this
Definitely,
team. Our
definitely.
ceiling in this T20 World Cup for me is reaching the semi final. I don't really see India going beyond that. It would be a surprise for me if that were
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah. One last question before we end this live stream over there. We've basically gone until 1.5 hours, but it's fine. But your thoughts towards Gautam Gambhir being approached as India head coach, and him also showing interest. I'm not sure whether he's gonna obviously drop out as a KKR mentor if he becomes Indian head coach, because it's like a 10-month, 11-month tenure for a year if he's gonna become Indian head coach. But do you think he's suited for Indian head coach, or do you think they should go for overseas head coach, like maybe Mahela Jayawardene, who has a good relationship with Rohit Sharma, and who could, he succeeded with Mumbai Indians as a head coach, and he has a pretty much good cricket knowledge as well and knows how to coach teams. Or should they go to Stephen Fleming? But I'm not sure. Stephen Fleming has said to CSK that he doesn't. He's not much interested to coach a team for 10 to 11 months because due to family matters and all, and that was the same reason that Ponting also had. And then Jesha said yesterday that an Indian is most likely to become the Indian head coach, which raises doubt that Gautam Gambhir could be the front runner to this job. So do you think Gautam Gambhir is suited for this job? Because he gets pretty much aggressive at times. Yes, he knows how to mentor teams, IPL teams and all, but his controversial statements, sort of annoys the media, because he says stuff that is sort of not suited at that moment to the public media and all, but that's his personal thoughts. But that sort of creates controversy in social media as well. So do you think if Gambhir becomes Indian head coach, we can see a difference in this Indian team? And do we see him favoring youngsters over senior players? Because Gambhir usually doesn't favor senior players. He sort of gives the youngsters and more opportunity. And sort of drops the senior players. That's sort of Gambhir's mentality. So your thoughts on that?
Mm, I mean, this is very interesting because Gambhir, looking at how he's done as a coach for IPL teams, you can't say he's a bad coach and or he would be a bad option. Question is, will he have be that same tough man when he comes into this Indian team? Because uh, I think a problem with coaches is we've had a problem with coaches as well as coaches who come into the Indian team, the senior team, suddenly look weak. All of a sudden, they become yes men, and they become too subservient to the players. This has been our problem ever since Anil Kumble was sacked. Okay, because when last time we had a hard task coach like Anil Kumble, I wish he was still around. They sacked him because he was not a yes man. So this is the fear. And now you see a recent statement of Gambhir saying IPL is as big as the T20 World Cup. So you're thinking he's trying to suck up to the IPL basically to get his job as the Indian team coach, because it always seems like to impress the BCCI you have to praise the IPL, and if you don't do that they may not give you what you want. So we're already I'm a little bit concerned about that statement because it shows that to become a head coach of this Indian team, you really have to bend over to the BCCI and really please them a lot. There's a lot said about Gambhir versus Kohli in this because I think Gambhir also has to be a little bit careful about the optics. I mean, thing is, him and Kohli actually get along very well in the team. Although Virat Kohli is not the captain, yes, but if Gautam Gambhir decides to remove Virat Kohli as a player, let's say, that can become a big controversy. Although I not that Gambhir cares, but that can spoil his. When you become coach, you have to become conscious of your image.
Yeah.
So if you sack a player like Virat Kohli, that will uh,
But don't you
spark
think
a
it's
lot of
time up for
outrage.
Kohli? Don't you think it's
Another
like
thing
time up for
is
Kohli in limited overs after the 2020 World Cup? Like, because
probably in
he's
at least in T20 cricket. Look, in T20 cricket, I think Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli both their time is up, along with a whole lot of other players. A lot of players, I think, maybe need to say goodbye to T20 cricket after this World Cup. The question is, will Gambhir have the guts to do it? Will he have the guts to drop these seniors? It's going to be even harder for him because he'd have to deal with Captain Rohit Sharma when he comes in as coach. Rohit Sharma is still captain of two other formats. for this Indian team. And then also, maybe dealing with two captains at the same time. When you're coaching three formats, you're dealing with like one captain in this format, one captain in the other. It's not going to be easy. And maybe Rohit Sharma will probably move aside as captain. I mean, because you need a different captain when the coach changes as well. This is just how cricket teams work. When once Ravi Shastri went as a coach, you knew Virat Kohli giving up Test captaincy was inevitable. So that could be the same case over here. Having said that, Gambhir will be a very good coach for the team. He has to make the tough decisions as a coach, because I thought Rahul Dravid was going to be good as a coach, and I even believed it for the first 1 year of his coaching that he was a decent coach. But that 2023 World Test Championship final really changed my mind a bit, because of how we prepared for that. And the coach is kind of responsible for that. When you don't get assemble your team together and you don't get them prepared, coach has to be in charge of the team. You can't just listen to players all the time. And this is where Rahul Dravid is very weak.
Absolutely.
Another thing is, I mean, I had one more thought. I forgot what I was going to say. Well, one thing that's going to be interesting with Gambhir becoming a coach is, Champions Trophy next year being played in Pakistan. I mean, with
Mm.
Gambhir as coach, that could. Uh, I think Gambhir himself might say we're not going to play in Pakistan. That's a possibility. But anyway, yeah.
But
Uh,
anyways, I don't think the government is going to allow, Team India to go to Pakistan. And anyways, I think Pakistan will have all matches in Lahore because it's closer to India and in the border. If they're going to have India in Pakistan, but really not sure whether that's going to happen or not
yeah.
really, or whether India is going to pull
Mm.
out of the championship.
I we
I
have
don't
to
know what
wait
will
and we
happen.
have to wait and see for that. Another thing I actually wanted to say now, I remember it, which is about, see, no captain can coach an IPL team and the Indian cricket team at the same time. To me, that's a conflict of interest,
Yeah, that's not going
because
to happen. I think
see
Gambhir is
see that's a
anyways going to
conflict
drop
of
out as
interest.
a
See,
mentor.
once, it's actually very obvious. Once coach becomes coach of the national team, they cannot coach any IPL franchise at the same time, because then they will favor players from that franchise to
Definitely.
play for
Yeah.
the Indian team. So it's a conflict of interest. Stephen Fleming probably will not do it, and Ricky Ponting, I don't think that Ricky Ponting coaching the Indian team will be a good thing in any way, because
What
uh,
about
do,
Mahela though? Do
see
you think Mahela
Ponting,
would be a good candidate?
I think BCCI is not open to having foreign coaches. That's the problem. They want an Indian coach. I think we will do very well to have a foreign coach, but I think Ricky Ponting is also not the option, because he's generally had a lot of a frosty relationship with Team India when he
Yeah,
was a cricketer for Australia.
that's what I thought. Yeah, back in
So I don't think he
2003 and
would
all. Yeah,
get along very well with Team India, and especially when you have players like Virat Kohli in the team, even Rohit Sharma, for example, there can be ego clashes. I
but
mean,
I feel like Mahela is a good candidate because he gets along with Rohit Sharma and he knows the MI players very well, especially Surya Kumar
probably,
Yadav, and
yeah,
he has
he
a good relationship
probably
with
can
Virat
get
Kohli
along
also.
very well with Rohit Sharma. But again, what I feel about Mahela Jayawardene being coach of the Indian team is there could be a conflict of interest there also. I mean, Mumbai needs coach, Mumbai Indians captain or former captain in this case. So
But he wasn't captain of Mumbai Indians. I think he was captain of Punjab and Delhi Daredevils, but he never captain.
perhaps yes, but I mean, you know what I mean, like the same captain coach duo for the franchise, and also
But
coming
I
for
mean,
the
Rohit
national
Sharma is
team
gonna
can lead
not
to,
gonna last long anyways as Team India, so he'll have to move on from Rohit
yeah.
Sharma and go towards either Rishabh Pant or I don't know who's
One thing,
gonna be
a
the
good
next
thing
coach.
with
Maybe
Mahela
Rahul
Jayawardene can be, yeah, he can probably, like Gautam Gambhir, he can be good at scouting talent for Team
or be a
India.
mentor. He can be a good mentor for Team India maybe because what he has done for Sri
Absolutely.
Lanka also. Yeah,
But I think, when it comes to coaches of IPL franchises in general, I always feel like they can, might, if they've coached an IPL franchise before, they might favor players who are from that franchise as well. So to me, it doesn't
I
sound
mean, the
like
same
a
case
very good.
will happen with Ponting and Stephen Fleming also if they
Uh,
were head
yeah,
coaches.
I probably don't favor them to be head coaches either for the same reasons, because I feel if some, I mean, Gautam Gambhir, yeah, he can be a good. Gautam Gambhir is someone I feel who will not show favoritism
The
towards
same.
anyone.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's why I would favor
We have
him.
seen
But
even in that interview with Ashwin, I think last week he clearly spoke, that he doesn't favor
absolutely,
anyone, and he's very very stern when it comes to he
but
sees the performance more than the favoritism and all. He's that sort of
absolutely.
a person.
I kind of, I'm not sure if Stephen Fleming or a Jayawardene are that kind of a person. My reason for opposing Ricky Ponting is a different reason. It's because of his frosty relationship with the
Hmm.
Indian cricket in general. Coaching an IPL franchise is very different, but I feel BCCI should be open to a foreign coach in general, even if it's from outside the IPL setup. They should be open to having a foreign coach, because very often in India you also have regional politics as well. I mean,
But
you've
we've
had,
seen Gary Kirsten succeeding with Team India. We had who else was with Team India that succeeded? I think Gary Kirsten mainly in the
there was
2011 World Cup
Duncan
and with
Fletcher as well.
yeah, even Duncan Fletcher was also successful. Although the 2007-8 that was not a good period for Team India back then with a foreign head coach. But that's I think one of the reasons why they didn't also continue after Gary Kirsten. I think they've all gone with Indian coaches if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean, you see, with the, I think BCCI has gotten a little bit arrogant in that mind sense of having an Indian coach. Rahul Dravid got to the coaching role on merit, I'll have to say, because he did
But,
coach an under 19 World
also
Cup
your
winning
thoughts
team.
on VVS Lakshman not applying for the Indian head coach. Do you think he could have been a good option as Indian head
I
coach,
don't.
seeing how he has seen the NCA, checking on the academy, plus, for SRH also he has been helping a lot, especially the youngsters and all of that. Don't you think that
To
VVS
be
Lakshman could have
frank,
been a good choice?
I'm not very sure about that, because look, when you come from coaching youngsters to coaching a national team, you're coaching senior players, many of whom are very famous and all that. You have to have a, you can't have a soft personality. I feel VVS Lakshman is a little bit too soft for the role, just like Rahul Dravid. I mean, too soft, and they will get trampled over by seniors. That is, that fear is there with VVS Lakshman. So I don't really feel VVS Lakshman will be too different from Rahul
What about
Dravid.
Sehwag? Don't you think Sehwag is a good option because Sehwag has coached PBKs? Yes, I know the relationship between Preeti Zinta, Sehwag, Ashwin, that spit didn't work out properly, but I think that franchise has one of the worst, so if not the worst management ever, and that's why Sehwag couldn't succeed. But even if that's why even Delhi might consider Sehwag after Ponting is there because Delhi do have kind of a good management now under Pat Jindal and all, even though we have the old owners and sort of there was a terrible management over there, but we at least we have Parth Jindal and at least he has some sense, with how he's been coaching. I mean, been owners of other sports as well. But the only thing Sehwag also could be a good candidate for head coach because he also has that aggressive mindset and he also sort of is also similar to Gambhir, although they have two different personalities, but Sehwag also has that aggressive mindset also.
Sehwag might not be a bad option, although yeah, I mean, actually, I did feel Ravi Shastri was a yes man, but he was fairly tough
I
as
think
well.
it's because of his age. He can't apply because of his age. I think it's you have to be
Ravi,
under
see,
60
Ravi
years to
Shastri will
be head
not
coach.
become the coach again, but I would say I didn't have a strong opinion of Ravi Shastri when he was coach, but after seeing the way Rahul Dravid was has coached the team, I feel Ravi Shastri was a lot better. I mean, at
Yeah,
least Ravi
definitely,
Shastri,
absolutely.
even if he was looked like a yes man to Virat, he was only a yes man to Virat Kohli, to be honest, in the Indian team setup, not to any other players. With other players, he
Definitely.
was very tough, and in his press conferences also, he was a very tough talker. He would
Tough. Yeah,
always
absolutely.
have a very great spirit. We don't
But
see
he
that
can't
with
apply
Rahul
again due to
Dravid.
his age. I think there is
Yeah,
in the
obvious.
BCCI contract that
Okay,
you have to
fair
be
enough.
under
See,
60 years.
once you've already coached the team, you can't come back again, because
Yeah.
especially the way it happened, he was basically kicked out of there.
Yeah.
And Yeah,
But
Sehwag
don't
would
you
be a
think that
similar
India
one.
should consider for an overseas coach? Because I feel like a coach
I
like
see.
even Jack
Coming
Callis,
to
even Jack
coming to your
Callis could be a
initial coming to
yeah.
your initial question. I mean, about Virender Sehwag, I don't think he would be a very bad coach. Yeah, he'll have an aggressive mindset, and yeah, he will
And he
mouth
doesn't
off
talk
a lot.
much controversial statements than Gambhir. I mean, he's straight to the
Mm,
point, and
well,
he has good relationships with everyone. Also, with Kohli, has a good
well, to be
relationship with
frank,
Rohit Sharma.
Sehwag's only controversy will all come with respect to talking about Pakistan or something. He's forever vilified for his statement during the 2017 Champions Trophy, where he said "The "Baap Baap hota hai." He's forever vilified for that. Although a lot of people from the other side of the border have said worse, but doesn't get too much coverage. But anyway, yeah, I think Virender Sehwag will be a good coach for the team. He can bring an aggressive mindset to the team. He may not be that bad. Probably he won't be the tough talker Ravi Shastri is, but he will do a
I feel
decent
even
job.
Ajit
Him
Agakar
and
could be a good.
Gautam Gambhir.
I feel like even Ajit Agakar could have been a good coach, but right now he's the chief selector. So I don't think he can, be removed as a selector and
Agarkar
become head coach. Otherwise, I thought that he
Agarkar
could
will
have been a
not
good.
be a very good coach for me. I mean, we see him. See, even as a selector, you need courageous people. I mean, that's my biggest thing. And
Yeah.
Ajit Agarkar again doesn't have the courage to be a coach. He doesn't have the courage to make tough decisions. Virender Sehwag or a Gautam Gambhir, they might have these. They might have the courage, and they're from New Delhi. You know how New Delhi people are.
Yeah.
They're full of
Absolutely.
courage and full of spirit, aggression, all those things.
We've
Virat
seen
Kohli
with
comes
Kohli
from
also,
the
Virat
same mold.
Kohli also. Yeah, we've
Virat
seen in
Kohli
Virat
comes from
Kohli
the
also.
same mold, although maybe a little bit
Too aggressive, yeah. But
too
off
aggressive
the
at
field, I
times.
mean, Kohli is not aggressive. It's on the field, that Kohli
But
is aggressive, and that's
you
his
need
passion. His aggression is his passion. So you
absolutely
cannot complain
you
that much
need
on Kohli being over aggressive and all that sort. That's
you need
his.
such characters in a team. To be frank, you need aggressive people in a team. You need people who have guts and people who will cross the time. Every team will have these guys. And Virat Kohli as a captain, actually, he a bit underrated because he brought passion to the team. He inspired people, not just with his performances, but in the field. He always tried to lift up people's spirits on the field. And another thing is, he took responsibility for defeats. He took accountability. You look at Rohit Sharma as captain right now. He doesn't attend press conferences when the team loses in an ICC event.
Yeah,
I mean, that
similar.
is not the sign throughout the ODI World Cup. I mean, people always. I mean, it was unbearable hearing people say Rohit Sharma is selfless and all that.
Hmm.
We lost the final and we saw how selfless he really was. He skipped the press conference like he usually does. He did this after the T20 Asia Cup in 2022, after the 2022 T20 World Cup, and then again after ODI World Cup last year. Okay, this happened in one tournament. I could have said, okay, he felt emotional, he couldn't do it, and all that. But
Yeah,
this is the trend in every tournament. Then you have to say something is up with that. Something is wrong with that. Even though attending a press conference is not the compulsory thing to do, it's not compulsory.
absolutely.
But when you're only doing it during victories and then the team loses and you go hide yourself basically from the whole public. After losing the ODI World Cup, Rohit Sharma didn't even appear in public for like 20 days. Uh,
Hmm.
so, it's basically hiding from responsibility. And then you have Rahul Dravid blaming the pitch for losing the final, openly blaming the pitch, the same pitch that he asked for the final. He's blaming that. So Virat
Definitely.
Kohli and Ravi Shastri didn't shy away from responsibility like this. You really have to give them credit for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you need these kind of courageous personalities to lead a team. India lacks that right now, I feel.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just one more also before ending this. Sorry for taking that much, but I just saw on Twitter now, coming back to USA versus Bangladesh, Shakib. Shakib, I don't know what sort of statements he's up to, because he has been overconfident when he said, he told, that we are playing against teams like Zimbabwe and USA, and it's not ideal for preparation ahead of the 2020 World Cup. Now he's coming off the series loss and saying Pakistan lost to Ireland, and in 2020 it is anybody's game. It is on the day who performs better, and so you cannot take anything lightly in 2020 cricket. After telling a statement that it's not ideal playing against Bangladesh and against USA and Zimbabwe, and then saying they are very easy opponents. We can easily beat them, and they've lost to both Zimbabwe. They lost a match against Zimbabwe and then losing a series, and then now coming and talking like this. What are your thoughts on Shakib as a whole? His personality of reason is
Sakib,
terrible.
look,
And now he's got an MLC contract. I don't know whether he deserves it in the first place with all that sort of personality that he has right now.
Sakib, I'm pretty sure his Bangladesh teammates don't like him. There are people in his team who don't like him as a person, and it's understandable why they don't like him. And first of all, who makes the fixtures? Bangladesh themselves organize the fixtures, and what do you expect when you're playing international cricket during an IPL, and most of the international cricketers are playing in India for IPL? If you want practice, maybe you should have scheduled your international cricket outside the IPL. I mean, there's 10 months of international cricket for you to schedule with quality teams. And basically, they, just like Pakistan, they always choose a series against New Zealand every year, once every year. How much cricket do they play outside IPL when all other international teams are available? Barely any. They don't play that much international cricket, so they shouldn't be blaming these fixtures. You organize your international cricket at the wrong time, you won't get the teams you want if you're trying to do it during the IPL. And there was even blame about the pitches that they played on against Zimbabwe for losing this series against the US. First of all, you want to prepare for a World Cup in the US and want to prepare for different conditions in the US, then prepare those conditions in Bangladesh itself
Hmm.
and play. I mean, they have control over the pitches when they play at home. Who told them to prepare different kind of conditions? These are all
Definitely.
pathetic excuses, and saying anyone can defeat anyone in T20 cricket, passing that off as a reason is just typical defeatist mentality. Okay, you're there
Absolutely.
to try and win a game. You can't just okay, as a fan you can say that anyone can defeat anyone. You don't say, that's not what you say as a player, and that too as captain of your team. And
Absolutely.
saying Pakistan lost to Ireland, so it's okay. First of all, losing to US is worse than losing to Ireland. Pakistan, Ireland is not a bad, such a bad team. Yeah, they're weaker than Pakistan, but it's nothing compared to losing to US.
Yeah, definitely. Also, one more comment. I just, Kevin Peterson said that Virat Kohli should leave RCB and join Delhi Capitals because Virat Kohli is from Delhi, and his family also could be close. I mean, he can be close to his family as well, and and plus I don't know about his family also, Virat Kohli's family, whether they'll adjust to Delhi also, but I mean, could that improve, the situation of Virat Kohli winning IPL? Because, it's been 17 years with RCB, and I know he's been very, very loyal towards Royal Challengers Bangalore. I understand, with the fans or whatever, but, it's just not working. He's now 36, I think 35 or 36 right now. He has only maybe about 5 years left in IPL. Is it a time for change for Virat Kohli? Because I'm not sure with, the management right now for RCB whether they're going to win any trophy. Apparently, with Virat Kohli, it's not going to happen with what I see. So do you think like he should change his team and maybe go to Delhi and maybe perform over there as well? Yes, he's performing with RCB right now, but Delhi also have good players also, and you have Pant, you have maybe next year's mega auction could work out for Delhi Capitals also. So do you feel like Virat Kohli going to Delhi could work out for him and maybe get a trophy for Delhi? Because Delhi are, yes, RCB qualified for playoffs, but don't you think the partnership between Pant and Kohli might work?
Well, to be honest, Virat Kohli, I don't think Kohli badly wants the IPL trophy. If he wanted it that badly, he would have left RCB a long time ago. I mean, yeah, he wouldn't have waited some 16 years to leave RCB in search of a trophy. And I know Delhi is his hometown, but Delhi Capitals hasn't won the IPL either. So he, switching from one unsuccessful team to another one doesn't make too much sense. Although you can argue team balance. Another thing is RCB. qualified for the playoffs this year. They ahead of Delhi Capitals and ahead of Chennai Super Kings, ahead of Lucknow Super Giants, ahead of all these teams. I think RCB should look to build on this in the next mega auction, and they should think of the way they played 6 matches in a row from 1 win and 7 losses, and try to be inspired by that to improve their team and improve them in a way that they will go on and win the IPL, that they can make a shot, have a shot at that trophy. Because Virat Kohli has been part of this franchise for a long time. It's not easy to just leave it behind for any others, even if it's your home franchise. And anyway, there's no such thing as, the family will have to move, because you crisscross all over the country during 2 months of IPL. You alternate between different cities, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
From a family point of view, and if you want, and you travel a lot during international cricket as well, so it's not, I don't think he's thinking too much of being close to the family. I mean, when you're doing cricketing duties, you keep family aside. Basically, your professional commitments are different, and your family commitments are different. There's space for both, but when you're doing professional commitments, you basically think only of professional commitments. And Kohli is very committed to this franchise right now. Bangalore is his second home ground, basically. I don't think he can just leave it very easily. And RCB will not let go of a player like Virat Kohli, especially
Yeah.
after the season he has had right now. You can't let go of Virat Kohli, or say that letting go of Virat will help RCB win the title again. It won't help them. You need if RCB wants to win the title, they have to go after some good players. They have to make some good buys in the next auction. Try to improve the team that they have already, because I think they have a solid base right now. I think they look a little more secure in compared to previous seasons. Now we have seen in those 6 matches they won the potential this team has. You have Virat Kohli there. Faf du Plessis was in good form. We don't know if he'll perform well for another season. So maybe RCB should try to think of picking up another
I think they
opener.
might go for a new captain because I don't not sure whether Puff is
Yeah,
going to
you
be
need a
retained.
new captain. You need to replace Faf as captain, and also as an opener. You need to find another opener who can replace Faf to Plessis, because you have to recognize that Faf, as good as he's been in this IPL, he's been very ordinary in franchise cricket for like 2 or 3 years right now. The
But
last time he
he did
really
well
had a
for
great,
CSK though. He did well for
he did
CSK
the
when he
last
got that chance.
that was the last time he really had a good franchise
Had a good
tournament, you
franchise.
could
Yeah.
say, when
Mm.
which was for CSK in 2021. He was not bad for RCB in 2023, but still kind of inconsistent. But
Yeah.
you need somebody who can replace Faf as an opener. Maybe get one or two openers, and you can have Virat Kohli come at number three, and then you have Rajat Patidar, who is really doing well. If Glenn Maxwell can find his form, then you have a solid top three, top four, top
Do you
five,
think
and you
RCB
can
will
build on
release
this.
Maxwell with how he's been performing this season? Because he's had a pretty bad season, or his average is only 5. He scored only 59 runs. I mean, he did well in 2021, 2022, sorry, 2022, 2023, but this season has just been just horrible from Maxwell, in my opinion.
Maxwell is an X factor player. I don't think he's a player you should ever drop from a team. He's one of the main cricketers for Australian cricket. He's had a lot of experience playing franchise cricket in the Big Bash League as well. That's not really a player who you want to drop. And this is Chinnaswamy Stadium. This is an ideal ground for Maxwell to score runs. So what RCB needs to do is they
But
need
your
to
thoughts towards
continue.
this season though from Maxwell, like his form, is it like very surprising because he had like 3 good seasons with RCB and this season has kind of been ordinary. But I
It
expect
is a
RCB
surprise.
owners to.
It is definitely a surprise, but you can't drop a player based on one bad season. I think Maxwell deserves another
Yeah, and
chance at RCB.
that's what the same mistake the Delhi Capitals also did back in 2010, if I'm 2011, if I'm not mistaken, with AB de Villiers, because he just had one bad season and then the owners decided to release him, and then we know what happened to AB de Villiers after that once he went to RCB. And there's nothing much to tell. So that we don't want that mistake to happen to RCB now with Maxwell. In case they release him.
Yeah,
They need to
hopefully
back
that
the
will
player.
not happen with Maxwell. But yeah, that being said, if
And
they
plus, he hasn't worked out with other franchises. Although maybe he might do well with
with
CSK
he
if
was
he goes
very
to Chennai
good.
Super Kings under Dhoni. But he hasn't really worked out for Delhi. He hasn't really
Well,
worked out for
Dhoni's
Punjab.
not
He
going to
hasn't worked
captain
out for
CSK
Mumbai
anymore.
Indians.
That is the thing. And Maxwell had a good season with Punjab in 2014. I remember that very
But
well.
that was only one season. He didn't
Yeah,
do
that
well
was
after that.
one season. But he's too good a player to drop from a team. You need to back him, especially if he's had two or three good seasons with the franchise. You really need to back
I
him
think
well.
he found his mojo with RCB, so I feel like he should be retained. I hope. I don't know about the owners
Absolutely.
because
And
we thought 3 years back that Chahal is going to be retained for RCB, and then he wasn't retained, and that was a huge mistake that RCB did by releasing Chahal, and we know what happened with RR when they got all the players back, from Delhi, Mumbai, and RCB and all. So don't
absolutely.
want the
And
same result
another thing is,
to
RCB
RCB.
is a team I feel they need to focus mainly on batting. They should prioritize like from 1 to 7 having excellent
But I think they
batting,
should prioritize on their
because
bowling also because it's their bowling that has not led the RCB
I
to a
see
title
with
in 17 years.
given they play 7 matches at Chinnaswamy Stadium, if their bowling attack is like they can concede just 8 or 9 runs and over, then that's good enough. If they can score 200 plus in every match, because scoring 200 in Chinnaswamy Stadium is not an unreasonable task. So if they have bowlers who can give just 8 or 9 runs economy rate, then that'll be good enough to win them every match, at least in Chinnaswamy Stadium. So that's how they should think. They should aim, I think, for things like win 7 matches every season at Chinnaswamy Stadium. If we play 7 matches at Chinnaswamy Stadium, we should be able to win like 6 or 7 of them. They should aim for that, and then maybe they'll win 5 or 6 matches there, and that's most of the job done when it comes to reaching the playoffs, and then that takes so much pressure off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also
this is
thoughts
what
whether
Chennai Super Kings does when it comes to winning in Chennai. We win 70% of our matches there.
yeah.
Even this season, in spite of not reaching the playoffs, we won 5 out of 7 in Chennai. We just couldn't, pick up our game away from home. We played like proper home bullies this season.
And also thoughts whether you think Dhoni will be playing IPL 25. Do you think he should play IPL 2025 or he should not? Because we've seen messages from Twitter messages from Matish and Darian Mitchell that he's been going to play IPL 2025. But do you think it's time up for Dhoni for Chennai Super Kings now?
I think it's time up. I mean, to be frank, he should have retired last year itself. That would have been the ideal ending. I mean, finishing as IPL winning captain and retiring from the IPL, that would have been the most ideal finish. Of course, you can't. Ambati Raidu said he should play another IPL and then retire winning the IPL again. But come on, you can't. Uh, the same comeback of pattern of not reaching the playoffs and then winning it again the next season. You can't repeat this every time. I'm sorry, it happened in 2021. It happened in 2023. Dhoni could have retired from after any of those 2 seasons and finished as an IPL winning captain. So you can't take another chance just to do that. In my
Absolutely.
opinion, that will not be in the team's interest, and it's disrupting the batting order, as well as Dhoni has been hitting the ball and all that. You have to just to keep Dhoni for last 2 or 3 overs. You're having to send Mitchell Santner ahead of Dhoni. You're having to send Shardul Thakur ahead of Dhoni. Next one, you'll send him at number 11. If CSK loses 9 wickets before the 17th over, you'll only send him at number 11 to come and bat. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. It doesn't make any more sense. You can't, and he's not able to move. He's probably going to need another surgery. I think it's time to give up for Dhoni. The body is just saying no. You cannot do it anymore. If Dhoni wants to be involved with the team, he can do it as maybe the mentor of the franchise, and maybe in a few years, maybe the coach. But it's time for him to be done as a player. It's time to move over, let somebody else take the mantle. Already, Gaikwad is captaining the team. Yeah, he's a work in progress, but there is room for improvement. There have been some positives he can take from this season, but and some negatives. But you have to let him lead the team. This is another thing I feel is many players, if they're captaining with Dhoni in the team, they can't really be their own person. Even we saw that when Virat Kohli began his captaincy for Team India in white ball cricket, half the time Dhoni himself was setting the field. It looked like Dhoni was captaining half the time. So a player, if you want somebody to properly captain the team, you need to let them be their own person. You can't have two or three people trying to be captain or trying to lead the team or set the field. That will also disrupt the team in the long run. And another
Yeah.
thing I um, feel is, yeah, Dhoni is. I won't say he's done as far as batting is concerned. Of course, fans will want him to play, and even if he's on a wheelchair, coming to play for CSK. But it's time to be done. As far as when he will retire, whether he'll announce it or not, I think we're always going to be left in suspense for like 3 or 4 years now. We've been going to IPL thinking this is his farewell season. Uh, Even in 20 from 2020, since 2020 itself, we've been thinking this is farewell season. So he's had five farewell seasons now, which is going to be the last one. I
Yeah.
want to know.
Absolutely.
I think that the end has come now, because now even physically he's not doing well. So it's time for him to retire. But of course, we will not know. He'll always be kept under wraps. I feel he
Yeah.
won't announce it during an IPL. Probably long after the IPL is finished, he will suddenly announce it.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we have to wait and see for it. And I think it's only good if Dhoni retires, because again it'll disrupt CSK's plan at the mega auctions, because you can only retain four players, and I think those four players should be Gaikwad, Dubey, Patirana, and Conway. If Dhoni plays, obviously CSK is going to retain him. There's no doubt about it. So then you'll have to give up one of these four and potentially to another franchise. Historically, when we give up players in an auction, we find it hard to get
But
them
wasn't
back.
there news that it's going to be 8 players instead of 4 players in the upcoming mega auction? Like there's news that 8 players will be retained instead of four. That most teams are in favor of it.
If that happens, yes, probably. Then you could, maybe there'll be a chance to retain Dhoni and these four players. But then again, Dhoni is not physically 100%. You can't have a player who's not physically 100% continue playing cricket, even if it's just for 2 months a year. I think it is time to move on from Dhoni. The good thing is, if it's eight players, then yeah, we can find other players to retain.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Rahul. It's been two
Yes,
hours that we
absolutely.
discussed, but it's been a pretty good conversation that we had. Pretty good
Yes,
discussion, and
absolutely.
may the best team win. So hopefully we can come again on Monday morning and discuss about the IPL final as well, and probably also discuss about the 2020 World Cup coming up as well with India matches and all of that as well. So thank you, Rahul, so much. So please to
Thank you,
subscribe to
Pawan.
Sports Breakdown, like, comment, and share, and also do follow Rahul Iyer on social medias, especially on Facebook and yeah, especially on Facebook where he does his analysis over there. So do follow him up on Facebook as Rahul Iyer. I'll try to send the links on the video description below, and you can maybe follow him on both Facebook and maybe on other platforms as well, even Instagram. So thank you so much,
Instagram.
Rahul.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank you, Rahul, and yeah,
Thank you,
let's
Pawan.
see in the next video, guys. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Good night,
Right.
good morning, good night, wherever you
Yeah.
are.
Good
Yeah,
night.
so thank you,
Yes.
guys. Yeah, good
Okay.
morning,
See you.
actually. Yeah,
Good
see
night.
you guys.
Okay. Good night.